The reason I'm in my car. And nothing can keep me down. That's just a spirit that I've always had about me. That's just a way that I've always had about me. I've had uh, plenty of people in my life, I don't know, just make it their sole mission to bring me down in my life because of what they have going on in their life. I don't know what it is, but I think that what that has proven to me is that I really need to put one foot in front of the other when it comes to creating my own lane to where nobody else is in control of my income and my destiny. You know, because I've never been that person. I've never been that 9 to 5 person, and I can give you many examples of that. Good morning, Edward. I said this before, but a lot of people say when they're growing up, their first superhero is their mom or dad or their parents or whoever it was that raised them, because you don't know really what life is about just watching them. You just know that they go out and they get money. My digits are 9, 1, 1. I hope you got that. call them up and you'll get me. So yeah, a lot of people say their parents are their first superhero, and to an extent, I'm not trying to make this sound away, but to an extent, my parents were my first superhero as well. Good morning, Edward, if I didn't say so already. But to the extent of just, they were people who provided for me. Farm. My mom grew up in an area, in like a country area as well, and the two of them ended up leaving their hometowns and coming to America, going to school in America, going to college in America. And in my dad's case, it was just college. In my mom's case, she did high school, a little bit of high school in Canada, and then she went to the U.S., did her bachelor's and master's in uh, I never had to worry about how I was going to get my school supplies. You know, like they took care of everything. Even though I was like, I want this luxury item. I remember going to my friend's house and he had a movie theater in his basement. It was not glamorous because we're talking about a movie theater in the 90s. So he had one of those huge TVs that you probably needed 6 movers to get into the basement, because they're not like these current TVs that we have that are light as a feather, and if you drop them, they're gonna smash into a million pieces. It wasn't those kind of TVs. It was one of those big TVs with a big back, and he had these movie like reclining chairs and this nice couch or whatever. They had a movie room. So I didn't have like certain luxuries that I wanted, but those were luxuries. I had all the necessities, and I complained about that. But in retrospect, I realized that, my family provided me the things that I need. Yeah, yeah. So I say all that to say, when my parents would go to work, they would work hard and they would come home. My dad was an accountant for a large portion of his career, and my mom was a nurse up until 2020. Let's see. Okay, excuse me. She retired in 2021. So she was a nurse up until 2021 when she retired. Now, I remember when I was a kid, they would go to work. I didn't even really know much about what they did for work, but I just know that, they went to work, they came home. When they got home, I'd be like, Mom, Dad, can we play Uno? Can we play, can we run around outside? Can we play checkers, Chinese checkers, whatever I wanted to do? And the answer was no 85% of the time. And I was just like, this is no fun. You leave me and then you come back and you're tired and grumpy all the time. So I was just like, is this a life that I'm supposed to dream of? And I never had dreams of that life for that reason, because even, I don't know, strangely, even as a kid, maybe I didn't know what depression was, because it was never something that was talked about. Mental health was still very taboo at that time. But I just felt like there's a general unhappiness in my home, and why would I want to strive to emulate that? Yes, the bills are paid, but outside of bills being paid, everybody's unhappy all the time. So here I was, thinking to myself that when I get older, I want to control my own destiny. I want to not go to a job that I hate every day and pretend like everything is cool with that job. And somehow, some way, you become an adult and you try different things, but then it's like, regardless of what, there's still bills to pay. And I feel like that happens to a lot of people who are dreamers. They try to succeed doing the things that they are passionate about, but then the bills are not waiting for your passion to succeed. That's not to say that you cannot succeed at your passions. I remember I took an entrepreneurship class when I was in college, and we had the teacher did something cool, which was to have actual successful entrepreneurs who ended up leaving their business to do something else that ended up succeeding. And one thing that was constant that I heard from those people is that they had something to pay their bills. They were doing some kind of a job to pay their bills, but then in the meantime, they were putting away funding on the side. They were investing, like let's say they decided, I'm going to invest 15% out of every paycheck towards these expenses of my side business. So then they put money aside, put money aside, put money aside. They bought whatever supplies or whatever things that they needed for that side business, and then they worked on it on the side so that they weren't left with high and dry without anything. And they're just working and building and working and building and working and building until they got to the point where their side thing that they were doing happened to make almost as much, or if not more, than their main thing. And then they were in a position to leave. But it sounds very easy. I've heard these things have taken people, and as little as a year or two, and as much as like a decade. So I would say that in my case, the things that I have tried. Good morning, Cass. I would say in my case, the things that I have tried, I have not made enough of a consistent effort in order to be like, oh, I tried working on this for a whole year consistently and systematically, and it didn't work. It's more like I tried for 3 months, I tried for 4 months, it didn't work out for me. And then I just was like, you know what? The easier thing to do is to just stick out and ride out this 9 to 5 and, work until I achieve my pension, if that exists when I'm at retirement age. But, the truth is, to me, sometimes staying where you are is more painful than trying and failing at where you want to be. I'm going to say that one more time. Oh, that's a great one, because I just made that one up. Sometimes the pain of staying where you are is more painful than the pain of trying and failing towards where you want to be. I'm going to clean that one up again. Clean that one up a bit, but that's going to be one of my quotes. That's one of my quotes. It's hard when you try to do something that you really do and you don't succeed at it. It's very hard, right? But if you ask me, what is more difficult between accepting a life where I am stuck somewhere that I don't want to be, doing something that I have no love for, versus the pain of I made an attempt at doing this thing that I love and it just hasn't worked yet? I will pick the pain of not figuring out the right formula for success every day of the week. That's just me personally. I know some people, like my mom, if I was having this conversation with my mom, which I can't even, it's not even an if. I've had this conversation with my mom plenty of times, and I love my mom, but she will tell me, Mark, I know that you have these different things that you want to do with your life, and I know it all sounds fun, and like life is good and fun, and can be fun and easy, but at the end of the day, sorry about that. If it's me, anyways. I'm like, Mom, I respect the life that you lived to provide me with the life that I have lived. But we are living in different times. Like, I'm not living in the same, respectfully, with peace and love, I'm not living in the same time, in the same era as you. What I mean by that is, if you ask somebody in growing up, she was my age in the 80s, let's say, right? 80s and 90s, right? So if you ask somebody growing up in that period of time what they do for a job, and they were like, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur pretty much means like I'm a bum. Like I don't got a job. I'm just trying not to work for the man, but in the meantime, I'm not making any money. Like that's what that meant at that time, right? But nowadays, you talk to a 12-year-old. Hey, what do you do for a living? Well, I make $20,000 a month on TikTok, and you're like, wow, in 2 to 3 months, you make more than I make annually. My point of even saying that is that there's so many more options in today's era. My mom's out of the workforce, so it's not relevant to her anymore. But there's so many more options in 2025 than there was in 1980, 1990, or whatever. So there's too many options for me to have to limit myself to the most obvious ones. And frankly, these companies, man, I'm going to get back to this topic later. I'm not done with this topic, but these companies don't care about us. They don't care a lick about us. And that's been proven to me over and over and over again. And it was proven to me again here. And so, like I'm gonna go hard for what I believe in. And I'm gonna jump back to this topic, but I am hopping off for now. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified when I drop some more great content. Thank you all.